Hey guys, little CardOtaku here, and today I'm here with another deck profile. Sorry this deck profile took so long. I was trying to fix the ratios because the deck is good, but there's a lot of things that I just didn't know why it wasn't working the way it should be. And I think I fixed the problems, and the deck is running pretty smoothly for me now. So without further ado, let's get right into the deck profile. So we're running one of the starting Vanguard because that's the only one we can run. For the grade 3s, we are running for Zacharias. Very, very cute card. Kind of like the old art more, but this one will do. So basically, she's going to be your first ride, and she's very good because she helps you fix numbers. And her first skill works in both Vanguard and Vanguard Circle. So in case that, in the events that you have her in your drop zone for some reason, you can just call her out with one of your Vanguards, and then you can fix numbers. But most of the time you're gonna want to ride her, especially with her second skill. You can ride her from damage zone, so that's pretty good because you can just get your free markers kind of, as long as your opponent's in grade 3 Vanguard. So she's nice. Not much else to say about her. A lot of people didn't like her card because they thought it was too basic, but I think in standard format she's all right. Next, we're running for Metatron. Metatron is a great card. She is very good for standard, and she is going to be the main second ride for this deck. Her skill is when this card rides on a grade 3, you can count last 2 to call a card from your damage zone and call it to a Vanguard Circle, and then during this turn, this card gets plus 15k. So obviously helps her hit a little harder. Her second skill is also very good. It's once per turn, and then you can choose a card in your damage zone and put it to the bottom of your deck, and then you can deal 1 damage to yourself. So you're basically getting a free counterblast back with Metatron skill. So very, very good card. Not that great if you ride her first though. Yeah, it's just not that great to ride her first. You can still use her second skill, but her first skill isn't that great. Yeah, not much else to say about that. Next, we're running Mobile Hospital, Feather Palace. This card is a great card. He is pretty much the waterfall for Angel Feather. It works on both Vanguard and Vanguard Circle. And when this card attacks, you can Soul Blast 2 grade 3s, and then this card gets plus 20k and an extra extra critical, extra critical. So it also restricts your opponents from using Sentinels, so it's very, very good. But please keep in mind that you have to turn all your cards in damage zone face down. So make sure all your cards are all the cards in your damage zone are face down already before or make sure you don't have too many counterblasts open before you use the skill, because it'll be kind of a waste. But it's fine because if you have Metatron and your Vanguard, then you can just refresh your damage afterwards. But a lot of times when you're going to use the skill, you're going for game. So that's also the main reason why I'm only running 2, because there's so many cards to bring him back. So you don't really need to run 3, especially if you ride him first. Then that's really no good. And even with his skill, you can use him in a Vanguard Circle, so you can still do things with him on the Vanguard Circle if you call him out with your other cards. So there's that. Very, very good card overall. I really like the grade 3s. They have pretty decent synergy with each other. Yeah. Not much else to say about that, especially if you have Metatron in a Vanguard Circle, and then you manage to get her out on a Vanguard Circle. For example, if you Soul Blasted it somehow, or it was in damage zone and you healed it or something, because there's nothing else to heal, then you can still fix your columns with the grade 3s. And then anyway, it's just nice. Next, running for Amarati. So this card, it works in both Vanguard and Vanguard Circle. So you can Soul Blast 1 when this card's placed from hand, you can select one to call a card from damage zone, and then put a card from your deck, top of your deck, to the damage zone face down. So overall, he's a pretty good card. Unlike most of the other cards in this deck, he does not require you to have a card put in your damage zone prior to use this effect. So a lot of times you're going to use him to do the action, because there's some cards that won't be able to proc their effects if you don't have that action during the turn, like this card, Regal, I think her name is. So when this guy's placed from the hand to Vanguard circle, if a card was put in your damage zone during this turn, then you can counterblast 1 to choose a card in your drop zone and call it to Vanguard circle. So this card's going to help you retrieve some of the units that you need, or any other missing piece that you are looking for that's in your drop zone. For example, if your Feather Palace is in your drop zone, then you just call it out with this. If you need some Grade 1 boosters, then you can just use her, call them out. She's a very good card overall. This deck doesn't actually use too many counterblasts, so she will be one of the people that does use a counterblast. The other card would be your Pegasus. So yeah. Next, we're running 3 Million Ray Pegasus. Only 3 is enough because a lot of times you won't be needing to use the effect too often. His main purpose is just so that you get a 14k attacker, or you get a 10k shield on your opponent's turn. But if you really did need the thing, then you can just call him out with this. So he's kind of reusable. You just need to get one of them out in your drop zone or your damage zone, and then you just call it out to use later on. But like another card that is very useful that you probably want on your field most of the time will be 1000 Ray Pegasus. Now you're not going to use this effect all the time, so when you do want to push guard out, you will be using him quite often because he's one of the main cards that can help you pump your numbers. So when this card's boosted, both their skills only work when you have a card in your damage zone put there. If you had a card put in your damage zone on the turn. So with this card, you can use it to when it boosts, you can counterblast 1 to give it plus 10k. Next, you are running for Abaraki, or I'm running for Abaraki. So this card, you can use her to ditch your draw triggers to get something useful from your damage zone. Of course, this card only works when it's placed from hand, so you can combo them with these cards. Same goes with Hestia. But instead of ditching a card to take a card, this card lets you swap. So you can swap. You can still swap your draw triggers and stuff, but a lot of times if you plan to do your other thing, your plan turn, then this card is good because you don't need to counterblast. This card's good because you can swap instead of having the card go back face down. Because when you use this card, it goes from the top of your deck to the damage zone, so it'll be face down, and you'll have one less counterblast to use. But this one you get to keep that counterblast. So, you do use a counterblast for this, so it does kind of balance it out. But both have their uses, and there's not too many options for great ones in this deck anyway. So I'm just going to max all the rares out, and the commons that we got aren't too useful as of now. So we'll make do with this lineup. For the triggers, we're running 6 crit, 6 draws, and 4 heals. I do see a lot of people running 5 draws instead of 6 draws, but I like the extra draws because this is a protect deck, so a lot of times you're going to have extra perfect guards in your hand anyway. So you can just use this as your ditch fodder. The second use for these draws are just helping you swap them in your damage zone. They're not that like these cards. If you swap them in with your damage zone, then it's not that bad because it's just worth 5k. But if you're running too many crits or if you run too many crits, you might feel very bad when you swap in a crit in there. And these cards are just defensive triggers, so kind of helps with the deck. So yeah, that's my lineup. And even for your finisher, you're most of the time going to use Feather Palace, so you get the extra crit already, so you won't need the criticals as often. But you will, most of the time, you will just do that. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this deck profile. Thanks for watching, guys. This is CardOtaku, and I'll see you guys next time.